All right, hello and welcome to today's Verdict, the interactive show that gives you your legal rights and options. I'm your host and trial attorney, David Lesch. Well, today's Verdict is always encouraging you to stay connected. Make sure to tweet me at David Lesch and hashtag Ask Today's Verdict if you have a question. Also, check us out at bronxnet.tv. There is new legislation requiring consumer warnings regarding weapons and firearms sold in New York City. To tell us more about it, we have in studio Councilmember Majorie Velazquez. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, David.
It's our pleasure. I know it's a little bit tough today, a lot going on in Lehman, graduation day, but you made it, and we appreciate it here. Why now? Why this legislation now?
Because it hasn't been done, and because we need to advise folks of the risks, right? When you look at a carton of cigarettes, right? Now you have that risk, and that's what we're making the consumer be more aware of with issues and certainly like suicide, like domestic violence.
We see this stuff all in the news every single night, all the mass shootings. There's so much. We have to do something, I think.
Right, and part of it is advising the consumer, hey, you know what, these are the risks, and then putting it at the entrance, legible, and it is making sure that, you know, if there is a language access, right, if the area is predominantly Latino, or depending on the language of the area, that we reflect that as well. We want to make sure that all consumers are aware.
So walk me through it. So I walk into a particular establishment that sells firearms. Do I walk over to the area right where the guns are? Am I walking right into the store and I see it?
Yeah,
if they sell other things? Tell me what I see.
So if you're selling a firearm, the sign would be at the entrance, legible, on white background, black lettering, very clear and legible, so that every consumer understands the risks when you go ahead and purchase a firearm.
All right, so are these warnings in various languages?
So going back to that piece,
right.
Yes, and depending on the area, we're pushing to making sure that there is accessibility to those who speak other languages than just English.
Okay, and the warning, what in particular is it really alerting the purchaser of? What risks that they really didn't know they had beforehand?
Well, it's kind of like cigarettes, right? We all knew at some point that they would cause cancer, right? But now making sure that you understand that risk when you're actually holding the item. It's just the same way when you're entering this establishment, going in and understanding that there are potential risks, and here are the risks. You know, at the end of the day, if you're not properly storing it, if you're not properly training yourself, then there are additional risks.
Okay, so you see the signs and they're posted, right?
Yes.
Now you walk up to the counter.
Yes.
And you purchase the firearm. Are you getting a little lecture from the guy?
Not at all.
It's just the
entrance.
Just the entranceway.
Because by that time, also understand, and we're in New York City, right? We understand the different layers New York City has to even obtain a permit.
That's correct.
So there is that education piece, and it's a very long application process. And so we all understand that piece, but also now you understand when, as a consumer, what the risks are.
Now, I don't know how private sales work when guns are sold privately, or how that works. I assume you still have to be licensed to carry a weapon and to do all these things, but I don't know how this warning comes across if it's a private sale. What happens if that happens?
So this is more for establishments, right? Okay. But in that conversation, we should also consider that, right? And see how, with private sales, if there's an affidavit that you would have the purchaser basically sign that, hey, this person explained to me the risk or provided me with this sheet of the risks, in a similar fashion that establishments are doing as well. So that way it's a consumer-based law that we are protecting and advising and just educating the consumer.
Now, this isn't just a New York legislation. We've had this throughout the country. Am I correct?
Right. We have it in Colorado.
All right. And to the T, or did they change it up a little bit? Did they get more? Did they get a little less?
So we're modeling it after them.
Right.
So they're the leaders in this, and we definitely want to make sure that we're following the lead because we've seen the benefits of it for them. And it literally is basically just educating the consumer. As the chair of Consumer Worker Protection, I have a responsibility to make sure that all my consumers understand their rights in addition, what the products are and what are the rights with those products.
All right, let's talk pushback, because there's always pushback.
Of course.
All right, so where are we feeling the heat? From Republicans, from, I don't know, more moderate Democrats? Where are you feeling the heat here?
Well, I mean, certain people will feel it doesn't go far enough, right? And there are other people that would feel that it's too far, right? And my goal is to be in the middle. I'm here to listen to both sides, and that's where, when we are going to have the hearing at committee, that we invite everyone to come. Share your ideas, right? I just literally got the open dining bill, right? And I started it back in January of 2022, and it was only a couple of weeks ago that both the mayor and the speaker agreed to the terms, right? So I like to take my time to listen to everyone. So besides the hearing, what I've done in the past is going to the local community boards, going to local establishments, understanding, and it's not just
hearing from the.
So that is yet to happen. So like for me, what we end up doing is we go to even other boroughs, other districts, with the council members that express the largest amounts of concerns. We're here, and we meet with everybody, and we make sure that everyone's heard. Right? A compromise at the end means that we all are gaining something, but we're all losing something, right? Because it's a deal, and what we effectually want to do is make sure that at the end we're honoring what it is, which is just advising the consumer of the risk.
I know the viewers are going to want to know, are there any fines or any, what happens if you don't actually post and is an undercover public official who comes in and sees that, wow, you're selling this without any type of warnings?
I would say it would be treated the same way as tobacco sales are treated in smoke shops, right? If you have the license to sell tobacco, you show the license for tobacco, and you make sure that it's there, right? And then there is also the warning for tobacco.
Right.
And so if you don't have it up, then that's when you get the fine, right?
Okay.
It's just like that.
We don't have too much time, but what else is going on in your district? What else are you doing?
Besides open dining and all that good
Tell
stuff.
me about a little open dining.
So it's a great bill. It's not going to be full year, right? The roadside piece, but the sidewalk piece will be. And I think a lot of folks have benefited in the past with the sidewalk, and it was so restrictive because you would have to have an architect and an engineer, and that's so cost prohibitive, especially for our small mom and pops that are popping up and giving like a first chance in the communities. And what we noticed in COVID, when you relaxed that and allowed local businesses to partake without all these restrictions,
Better for everybody.
It's better for everyone. The Bronx jumped up from like 30 something to like 600 something.
Wow.
And we're better off for it. And it's not to say that there aren't any bad actors, but we made sure that we're addressing the bad actors as well. For me, in a world that works for everyone, is that we honor and respect all the good work that the good actors were doing, right? Which is investing in our communities, giving us a safe space to meet up with our friends and our families during a really tough time. I want to give a shout out to my local restaurant, Brewski's, that had the best quarantini freezies, right? They were amazing, and they kept me and my husband well fed and hydrated. But also, at the end of the day, what that can we take from those lessons, right? We saved the jobs, we saved a lot of restaurants. Let's keep those lessons, that sense of community moving forward, but also the bad actors, the ones that did not respect the community, that made it into a garbage pile,
we don't
right?
want that.
We take those down, and it's going back to your electeds that work with DOT, that work with sanitation to knock them down.
All right, well, listen, first of all, we love having you, and we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you getting here. It wasn't easy. Hopefully you'll come back and visit us to give us an update.
Yes.